It's crazy, Andy. It's like they're moving in here. They're moving to Montana, and they don't have a clue what's coming. You know, they don't. You see them all in droves. California plates, Washington, Oregon, all over Montana. Fall is in the air. Don't you know it, brother? Fall is in the air, and for that reason, in September. Yep, all Zeppelin, all September long in September. Can we play some Zeppelin without getting cop? We would get cop. Okay. All right, I got the big niter new. So fall is in the air in September. It's Monday, September 26th. And yesterday I was in Starbucks before a meeting. And there was this couple in Starbucks. They were in a Subaru from California. They were bundled up, and they were, bundled up. I had shorts. It's like 55. It's going to be 70 yesterday. 75. So they're bundled up, looking like they're going to brunch. I mean, seriously. Man, we're going to brunch, and we're going to stop at Starbucks. And the wife says to the husband, seriously, man, it is getting cold now. It is 40 below. Winter's here. Should I tell him? I was sitting behind him going, 40? I thought it's 45 below when it's the rodeo time in January and February. And you got to go out and clean the car off. Yeah. Have fun at brunch. It's cold. They had like stuff on, parkas and goose down vest and stuff that they got. I don't know what the story is. Ready for brunch, complaining that winter's here. It's 40. We got some mail there. Andy, we got a bunch of messages like, everybody, you're so hyper. What are you on? I'm on life. I'm naturally like this. I'm a dysfunctional child. ADHD, OCD, what else is there? AADD, NYPD, Mayberry RFD. Got them all. So do you wake and bake? Well, not as if it's any of your business, but let's talk about someone who does, because I hear a lot of talk about how counterproductive people are that smoke. It depends if you smoke indica or sativa. But, it's legal now. It's legal all over the country. It's socially accepted. It's been that way since the 70s. So let's talk about counterproductive. Snoop Dogg. He's a record producer. He's a rapper. He's an actor. He has a clothing line. He's an entrepreneur. He has television shows. He appears in television commercials. He's a spokesperson for major corporations. He has a cooking show with Martha Stewart, who also is a big cannabis user. Cooking with Martha, they make brownies. So the big knock of counterproductive and people sit on their butt and, are usually spoken by the guys sitting in the bar in happy hour when they don't have anything more to talk about. Hats off to Martha, Snoop, cooking brownies, shutting down the stereotype that, you aren't productive. As for me, only my hairdresser knows for sure. Crime. We were talking about crime earlier. And every time I talk about crime, Andy, every time, it's like crime's bad, crime's out of control, crime. But we don't really talk about what crime is. We're like, yeah, things are bad here in Great Falls. Police are all over the place. I have a ticker here at work. It's right here in this computer screen. What it is it's my news source. The reason I call it, or everybody calls it a ticker, is in the old days, it would be tick, 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 and there'd be news stories would come out of it. Everybody gets their news from somewhere. There's no exclusive person. It's like, I get the news only for this guy. Everybody's got news. Who's breaking it first, what wire it comes on. I usually trust the Associated Press, the United Press, and the BBC. Why? Because they seem to be more unbiased. They seem to be neither right or left. When you get the story right from the source, it is just raw. So with that being in mind, I came to work Monday, and I decided that what I would do would take a look at breaking crime stories, violent crime stories in the United States that took place since the last time I was here on Friday morning. And now it's Monday, so it's be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay? And what would be newsworthy to report? Now, some of this stuff happened like Wednesday or Thursday, but it didn't hit the wire. These are Monday morning discussion stories that, of crime. So instead of saying, goddamn Pipewrench, the crime's bad, Andy, we're going to say, okay, in Atlanta, Georgia, Debbie Carver, she'd been missing for 2 months, okay? She last texted her family that they are not going to let me go. She was found murdered in her vehicle. We don't know who did it, but we do know that Debbie was murdered. In Florida, a Florida woman, Sheila O'Leary, was sentenced to life for starving to death her 5-year-old daughter. Carrington, North Dakota, Shannon Brandt ran over Kaylee Ellington over a political argument. Shannon was an older man. He was arguing with Kaylin, the teenager, over politics, and ran him over. Okay, a 17-year-old North Carolina suspect was charged with the death of the 2 missing teenagers last week in North Carolina. That was Gavin Culp and Lyon Woods. Okay, Daytona Falls, Florida man named Michael Williams shot and killed his wife and son over the electric bill this weekend. Actually, Friday. The electric bill is a little high. A Houston carjacking victim who was driving a car. The driver was carjacked, shot by a suspect in Houston, Texas. The man stole the SUV, left it locked up and abandoned in the woods with the dead man's 2-year-old baby in the back. 2-year-old baby was found dead of heat exhaustion. In Memphis, Tennessee, Ledford Anderson started attacking McDonald's customers with a machete. In Richmond, Indiana, K-9 officer Sarah Burton died after being shot in the head while on duty. 2 teenagers were shot dead after people shot into a house in Niles, Michigan. There have been no arrests on that. Had enough yet? Oh, we're just getting started. LSU college student, 21-year-old college student Allison Rice was shot and killed in an isolated random attack, which Baton Rouge police say she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. A woman walked into a Circle K and smashed the register worker in the face and in the head with a brick, almost killing her because the gas pump wouldn't work. Because the gas pump wouldn't work. Charter Spectrum must pay more than $1 billion to the family of Betty Travis. She was an 83-year-old who was raped and murdered by a charter employer in Dallas, Texas. Charter ignored the background check when he had prior abuse for home invasions and abuse elderly. Victor Monroe, 34, of Chicago, Illinois. Victoria Marino. Victoria Marino, sorry, Andy, a little better in the type, Chicago, Illinois. Has been charged with murder for throwing a 3-year-old child off a pier in Chicago into Lake Michigan. Deshaun Bell, Jimmy Lee, and an undefined juvenile were arrested in a ring of smash and grab robberies in Beverly Hills. Law enforcement says they made $5 to $6 million over the last 6 weeks. Andy, $5 to $6 million in 6 weeks, that's $1 million. Holy dude, we're in the wrong business, I'll tell you that. Philadelphia contract killer. A Philadelphia contract. Contract killers are still a thing? He had willing to kick 6 people at random just because business was slow and he had nobody to kill. Serious shit there, dude. Business was slow. Judy Boyer of Fairwell, Michigan, pled guilty to killing her father, sister, and 2 handymen, which one was a painter, which kind of like says, maybe painting is okay, told the cops, because I wanted to know what it was like to kill everybody. Boxer Isaiah Jones, 52-2 as an amateur, 9-7 as a pro, was shot dead by his brother this weekend in Detroit, Michigan, because his brother was jealous of his success. Desasia Johnson, 22, of Brooklyn, New York, was found dismembered in a suitcase in her apartment. Her ex-boyfriend, who she had a restraining order against, was arrested. 3 people shot. Gunman killed himself in Ortfield, Illinois. All 4 had been identified. It was 2 couples. Just yesterday, 3 people were shot and killed in an amusement park in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. That is just outside of Pittsburgh. Now, not to be undone, Montana, we're in Montana, everybody's like, yeah, that's the national news, doesn't catch about Montana. Kylie Joe Tashuka, 18, of Billings, arrested for attempted murder. Colton Merritt, Missoula, shot father 19 times. 19 times Colton shot his father. Jory Sogner in Helena, 2 counts attempted murder. Arraigned attempted murder. Caden Lewis in Immigrant, Montana, 1 count murder. Bradley Haynes in Great Falls, 2 counts sexual assault on a 14-year-old. And she's 14-year-old now, and it started. Nathan Pretty Weasel, Billings, shot two teenagers in the Billings rims. Jody Moore of Billings, 2 counts of arson. She set on fire the pre-release center and a church. And, of course, This morning I read again, Andy, about the crime, the 2 kids that got arrested in Billings for the crime ring in Billings that are, it's a multi-theft burglary ring, and not to be outdone, and not to be just a gloomy Gus all Monday morning. A man from Dayton named Daryl Harrison posed as a Guyana, not Nigerian, because Nigerian's pretty much booked, a Guyana prince, and over the phone scammed people out of over $800,000. So when we talk about crime, Andy, we're talking about what I just did, is listed names and said, this is what happened this weekend. People are going freaking crazy. We got a RoboCop society anymore. Everybody's just nuts. Okay? Everybody. Murder is up 68% nationwide. Rape 82%. Robbery 93%. Attack on law enforcement is up 106. How do you get higher than 100%? I mean, if I got all the questions right in high school and grade school or whatever, I got 100%. You get what? There's extra credit for killing law enforcement. Law enforcement civilian shootings, that's the other way. Law enforcement shooting civilians is up 110%. This is all from the Department of Justice. Why is it going? Why? Why is everything like this? We've got school shootings. So the solution to that, school shootings, is to arm all the SROs into our schools and have armed officers from, I don't know what grade, Andy, is it from kindergarten I'm up? They start shooting them in kindergarten, so they might as well. So we got law enforcement, back in my day, and we've talked about it, I had guns. Mark McCourt, remember back in our day, we had guns in the truck in the parking lot and Sentinel and Hellgate? It's a parent problem. It's not a gun problem. It's a parent problem. You're raising a bunch of brats. They're just, oh, jeez. Pipewrench. So do I think that everybody needs to have a gun? No. We got people on social media, I'm seeing again. Let's just everybody shoot everybody over everything. If you see a guy loitering, shoot him. Littering, shoot him. Burglary, shoot him. Shoplifter, you got it, bang, bang. So that's not the solution. Social media, I've always said, I'm still saying that social media has a huge influence on what society's doing right now. Everybody's on social media is doing exactly what I read off this morning, and that is they're shooting, they're hurting, they're spiteful. The comments on social media are us against them, red against blue, black against white. It's horrible. Okay? And it's part of what's going on. We were locked up for what, a year and a half, Andy? We were locked. Everybody was in jail for like a year and a half. Some jails were nicer than others. As Nancy showed us, her refrigerator freezer full of ice cream. We're now not locked up. Sociologically speaking, we're crazy. We're nuts. We had cabin fever, and now we're going crazy. The news stirs us up. The news just stirs the pot. What do? CBS says this. Fox says that. Somebody else says this. Somebody else says that. We're going off about the news. We have no parental. It starts at home, and parents aren't doing their job. When I was a kid, if I talked back to my mom, she was a mean old Irish woman, too. I loved her. She was my mom, but she was Mike Painter. I grew up with Mike Painter. Mike Painter's a listener. Do you remember my mom? Mike Painter. Do you remember her? no-nonsense Irish woman. Yeah, Mom, I want to have brunch. Boom! They're going to get your bed made, the car's clean, the car clean, the lawn. Yeah. Kids don't have any responsibility, and that's the problem. We don't need guns in school. We need parents doing their job at freaking home. The news, like I said, stirs us up. We don't know what to believe. During the previous administration, we had riots in the cities, BLM, y'all, Black Lives Matter, Milwaukee, Boston, or Baltimore. It was just like Detroit in 67, 68. We had calls for more understanding, defunding the police, which were coming from one side, not the other. Now, we have our previous administration calling for defunding, and the followers, not all, but it's a big mantra, the defund the Department of Justice, defund the FBI, they're all corrupt. So people that used to tell us that we can't defund the police are now telling us we should. The media's confusing us. We have our former president on Fox News in a message, interview with Sean Hannity. You know, I mean, the whole papers in Mar-a-Lago is it doesn't stir people up. It doesn't cause division. First, he didn't have them. Then he turned them in. Then the FBI planted them, and now he declassified them just by thinking about it. And I'm thinking about a raise. Thinking pretty damn hard about one, too. So I expect, you don't think that sends a confusing message to the public? That your former leaders are... It can't be all four of his excuses. It can't be that he didn't have them, that he turned them in, that the FBI planted them, and that he declassified them by thinking. It can't be all four, and he's used all four. And our news is stirring us up about that. Okay, they're making sides about that. It's just more of the news. Another example of how the news just seems to divide us. The crime rate's out of control. We're divided. We are a divided nation that we cannot agree on a goddamn thing. We can't agree on football teams, on our children's education. We can't agree on potholes getting filled. We can't agree on legal items being put in the city limits or not. We can't agree on the war. We can't agree on mental health. We can't agree on anything because everybody's apathetic. They don't know what's going on, and they don't fucking care what's going on. As I touched Andy last week or the week before about aliens. We really have aliens, people. We really fucking got them. And now Buddy and Rat's ass kids, who cares about aliens? Crime is bad. Crime is bad because nobody takes care of business at home. That's why it's so bad. Well, we'll just lock them up and shoot everybody. We have the largest incarceration rate in the world. Where are we going to put them? And what else? Don't you think there's something wrong when we lead the world in incarceration and locked people up? And not to mention, that isn't even taken into account that the people are on supervision, on probation, and parole. Okay? 1 out of 3 either are or know someone. That's a startling statistic. 1 out of 3 people in the United States either are on probation, parole, prison, or they know someone in their family. That's startling. And meanwhile, we got crime, serious crime. murders, burning churches down. Well, we'll just have leaders lie on TV, put a spin on it, let everybody on social media say what they want, and give everybody fucking guns. That'll work. It's not working for us, people. I mean, I'm watching my news feed now, trophy hunting seasons in Montana. I understand hunting to feed your family. But to go out and kill someone and kill something, to put its head on your wall and call it a sport. Speaking of sports, Montana, both Montana teams won their conference opener. That's sport, not shooting something. So you put grandma's head on the wall. Right? They don't put grandma's head on the wall. Why not? It's our whole culture. You know, we're like, oh, well, you know, we're all on Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook, threatening everybody all the freaking time. You can't go to McDonald's. You're hit in the head by either the workers or the machete boy. What's it? Selma Hayek and machete boy. Machete with a, I don't know. It's just, there's no excuse for it. We've talked about crime. Now you got some numbers, you know. Now you got some numbers. It's all over, okay? It's not going to go away, okay? You can't lock it all up. We've tried that. Arming everybody doesn't work. We already tried that during the Wild West. Social media is to blame. Parents are to blame. Whole attitude, societal attitude's to blame. Like the couple I talked to, like the couple in Starbucks. Oh, I hope we don't get called. State Department has come out. State Department has come out in several different places in the last, since Friday, Thursday. I have across my board this morning, you know, I don't like the war in Ukraine, Andy. I don't like the whole situation. But I've been saying since day one that this thing's going to escalate and get out of control. And if you don't know what's going on over there, and if you don't know why the whole Ukraine situation is becoming very unstable, very dangerous, very quickly, and I'll explain to you what Vladimir Putin is doing right now. First of all, he's trying to mobilize up to 300,000 more troops. That's conscription. That means he's calling people at home. Like, you're watching my video at home, and you're in Russia, and Vladimir's calling you saying you're going to Ukraine. The people in Russia are protesting. There have been over 3,000 arrests this last weekend because Facebook and the internet and people are learning that this is not a, what the hell will you call it, a police? I don't know what he called it. Police action and liberation or whatever, that the Ukrainians don't want them there, and that Russia is actually losing this war as of this morning, Monday morning. They're losing this war. What he is doing right now is this. He is already explained to the world over and over for the last 6, 7, 8 months that he will not nuke unless the Russian motherland territory is threatened. So during wartime, what he's doing is anything that he's conquered so far, he's trying to annex into Russia, telling Ukraine, no, you can't, you can't take any territory back. You can't launch an offensive and take any, because now it's Russia, and if you do, we're going to nuke. And they're talking loud about it. They really are. Our administration is kind of worried about it, and I don't blame them. It's not something that they're going to take kindly to over there. And, what Vladimir needs to learn or realize, absolutely quick, in Great Falls, Montana, we get the southwest east. Our wind comes from the southwest, okay? And then over through, like, to North Dakota, so it heads east, okay? And in the northern hemisphere, that's how the cloud formation works, is that it goes from west to east. So if he puts launches a nuke into Ukraine, it would go from west to, the radio fallout would go over Russia first. I don't really think that matters, Andy. If I think he starts nuking shit, we're going to start nuking shit. And I've seen Great Falls and the target. We have nothing to worry about here. We're not going to feel a damn thing. They're going to send like half their army right here, missile-wise anyway. So, high sign. It's going to be the time to go sign. And we've added, crime's in bad in Great Falls. We hear about it all the time. The citizens are screaming at the city commissioners and the county commissioners and the county sheriffs and the police department needs more money. And it just ain't there. The solution isn't a police state. The people that think it is. Let's put law enforcement, let's put guards in the mall, let's put guards in the school, let's put armed guards everywhere, and have people carrying, guns that's a police state. That's awful police state. Then socialism, then the thing that everybody doesn't want to happen, then it all of a sudden happens because everybody's got guns. Societal problem. It's a parental problem. We don't need to lock everybody up. News has got us running both directions. You can't believe either news. I have people that watch CBS and swear by it. They report crime properly. And I have people who watch Fox News and say first of all, Fox News is not a news organization. It's an entertainment business. Take that in the bank. That's why you have Donald Trump telling that he just thought about declassifying stuff, and they're taking it as, I don't know what they're taking it as. Andy, it's a meme everywhere. So, crime's bad. We covered it often. Now I gave you some names, something to think about. It's coming to you. It's right here. It's in Great Falls. It's everywhere. Patrolling the streets, vigilantes, locking everybody up, arming them. None of that seems to be a societal solution that seems like a loving, helpful society. Social media, all of this stuff is precursors to the crap that I read, all the names that I read. Some of this stuff, people, was just heartbreaking, and I didn't even write down everything. Okay, the stuff that I have, that I get from animals, dogs specifically on a weekly basis, is heartbreaking, and my heart's broken every day. So, crime's a big problem, Andy. It is. We got to get out of here. Andy's giving me the high sign, telling me we got to go. So, have a great week, everybody. We got some location shoots coming up here for you. We're going to start working on them pretty soon. So those are like the hi, we're at stuff that I do and some other things. So some comedy stuff. We got that in the box here and some other things. But we will be here till next Friday or next Monday. We're going to be here on next Monday, and everybody, learn to duck and cover, kiss your dogs. Screw Putin. Have a good week. Till next week. Later.